Yuck. Pretty gross out there. Hello, Vention of the future. This is Vention. I think I'll mirror this to YouTube as well. I like to, every year, generally on January 1st, I like to give an overview of what I have done the previous year. So this video will be like the journal summary for 2018. And generally, well, ever since like 1991, when I was over in the first Gulf War, I have basically kept journals for major, pretty much daily journals. Mostly I did it just to keep my typing practice. That was all before the internet. So I transcribed my handwritten war log from the first Gulf War into text on one of my ancient old computers. I think it was an Amiga. And then basically I would continue writing these journals all the way from 91 all the way to the present, basically. I don't write as much as I used to, I think, because the life, when I was younger, you really have no idea what your future is going to be. I just was writing it to whoever I was going to be, but now I know who I turn out to be, because I am like 54 years old now. So there isn't a huge unknown future to write to. There's still some changes on the way, of which I am confident that Bitcoins will be one of them. And basically, I am now the person that I will pretty much be until I die, pretty much. So I guess that's why I don't write as much. But also, 2018 was a disappointing year. Anybody who was in Bitcoins is very much aware of that. At the beginning of 2018 and end of 2017, man, I was flying high, as all Bitcoiners and crypto people were. And the price was just crazy high. And I was making plans to disconnect from my mechanic job and start my new life as an early retiree. And I'm still planning that, but then I went on vacation and the price imploded. And basically, so I just rolled up my sleeves and went back and started working again and continuing to buy Bitcoins. And eventually, probably in a year or so, I'm expecting that it'll be high enough to retire again. So that's the plan. Till then, I just pretty much buy Bitcoins every payday and go on with my life. But that has been one of the biggest, I think, disappointment of 2018. Other than that, my dad's still living with me. I don't charge him rent. And he's really good about keeping the dishes clean. And we just got back from our favorite breakfast restaurant. And since I paid, he gave me the Bitcoin coin here. This is what we use to keep track of who pays. So I paid, so he handed over the Bitcoin. And next time around, he'll pay and I'll hand it over to him. So let's see, what else? other than that, man, debts are zero. House is paid off still. No problem. Good times. We are doing the whole mandatory 10-hour days during this winter storm, and we're slinging chains and doing all of our normal work to keep the vehicles going, and it is a challenge, and the physical work. I notice that I am not as capable of doing that as I once upon a time. There was a time when I could have done this, not much problem at all, just a few aches and pains. But now, going like that first 12-hour day of chaining constantly nonstop, and then that day of running around town and mostly hanging around one of the depots and chaining trucks as they were going through, constantly chain, and it was like I am and then kneeling in the snow and shoving the ramp under one of the inner dually, getting the thing up off the wheel up off the ground so we can throw the chains on more easily, and all of that is just very strenuous. So basically, I am not capable of doing that as I once was. So and at one time when I was a young diesel mechanic, I was like probably 29 or 30 or so, and when after break the old guys would start getting up, after lunch, and they'd be going, oh. and I said to them, oh, stop it, you don't really hurt like that, you just want attention. and they said, no, someday, Vention. One of them pointed at me like the ghost of Christmas past. Someday you will know. And I can still hear him a little bit. And guess what? I know. I'm feeling the pain. So basically, this is kind of interesting. Let's see. You can see the real difference in how I look. For example, here's the 2004 journal summary. Look at that ancient old video from one of my old PDAs. It wasn't even a smartphone back then. It was an old Palm Pilot. Geez, I was probably 40 pounds lighter back then. There's my old condo. There's my shelves, my cupboards before I did the painting. I eventually rented that place out, and then as the 2015 crash, actually the 2012 real estate crash, that's when I bought this house. And then I turned around and rented that condo out. And then after a few years, and up to like late 2015, then I sold the condo for like about $40,000 more than I would have gotten, and dumped it into the house mortgage. If I really wanted to buy Bitcoins with that money, but I just didn't want to risk it. I'm willing to risk my surplus monthly income, but I'm not willing to risk giant sums of money. That was like about $100,000 right there. But man, how much do you want to gamble in a situation? Because we didn't even know back then if Bitcoins were going to be legal to use in the United States. So basically what I've done during 2018, I just kept buying Bitcoins all the way down. and then basically I'm still buying them, and eventually it's going to turn around. I think it's already bottomed, and then over the next year and a half or so, I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to pull the trigger on an early retirement. I could technically do it now if I wanted to move overseas somewhere, but I have this big dream of uh, driving all over the country and working on permaculture projects. I'm thinking that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's the plan. I think I might spend my vacation doing that this spring and summer. So that's the plan. Well, other than that, oh, I used to have this cracking skin problem, and it is still happening to some degree, as you can see right there. But this CBD oil, which I buy at a local pot shop, that really does the trick. So if you have like fungus infections with skin that cracks and like chaps and whatnot, that stuff really works. It's by Fair Winds, and it's called Flow. So, but it's probably very much like other CBD oils. So other than that, life is pretty good. Tons of surplus income, pretty much no worries. Yeah, bitcoins have dropped, and yeah, I can't retire quite yet if I want to stay in the States. But man, I should not bitch. The house is paid off. Who can say? Not many people can say that. Totally out of debt. It's a much lower stress way of life. So other than that, that is my journal summary for 2018. I was a little late. Usually I like to do this on January 1st, but now it's like February 12th or something. So, oh well, I just couldn't bring myself to do it, I think, because of the major disappointment of 2018. So I'll just keep plugging along, and eventually I'll get where I want to go. Later. Oh, and don't get married.